the new Alchemy Vials and Potions.
Yeah, these are really cool. It's like they've been continually trying to concept these and kind of get them into place. Like, please use some fucking interesting potions. Please use them. Please keep alchemy alive. And this time I think is like, looking at them, I see they've solved a lot of pretty initial problems with like the usability of them. Because they started that really, the last time, well, maybe this is because I played a lot more in Legion, but it's like using potions all the time in Legion was kind of interesting. Because of how versatile they were use-wise. So they can solve economic problems so people can have potions. Oh, dear, sleepy. Then
Coming late.
Yeah, then I think I'll be pretty fun to engage all these new potion types.
Yeah, so basically the way that Vials work, that's one thing we should say.
Oh, yeah.
They're basically the same as flasks, but they last half as long, but you can stack 2 of them, and the economy's done so they'll cost half as much. And Vials basically have way more diverse effects than flasks are. So Blizzard's idea is maybe you want to try using different Vials between boss fights, or maybe a different Vial for a different dungeon. It's actually basically it's functionally the same if you use it the way that you use a flask right now, but it has more gameplay flexibility. So I think it's smart. And there's not going to be a Cauldron because of this, but there will be a Cauldron for potions, which is great.
Yeah, that's way better.
So Alchemy Stones, those will be returning. Don't really need to go into that too much, though, I think. But this one does let say the cooldown of your combat potion is decreased by 60 seconds. Potion of Power gives you more stat.
That'll be very interesting.
Now, so let's take a look at the discovered Vials, because these have different gameplay altering effects. Your primary stat is increased by an amount for every enemy that's attacking you, stacking up to 5 times. After taking actions besides healing for 5 seconds, your next heal is increased a bunch. Damage taken is decreased while over 50% health, but increased while under 50% health. Okay, interesting. Iced Vial of Corrupting Rage. Whoa.
Very good.
Yep. Gain Corrupting Rage, which grants critical strike rating after suffering 100% of your health and damage. You briefly swap to Overwhelming Rage, which causes you to take 100% of your health as nature damage over 30 seconds.
Really?
Whoa. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess that's just for like tank is in an easy dungeon, wants to do big damage, I guess. Which makes sense. I think that's the kind of thing. Having a flask for that specific scenario is cool.
Yeah,
much better than Spectral Flask of Power.
Yeah, yeah.
We also have the Vial of Charged Isolation, which is right here. What is it? Oh yeah, that's the isolation. You just stand away from people and then do get primary stat. That's a really weird one. That might work for maybe like, yeah, I guess that'll work for you're doing M+ as a mage or something. But I feel like if you're doing that as a in a raid, you will be hated for it, and it's not going to work very often. But that's stuff that's like very, very interesting. If you attack any target for the Glacial Fury, gain a stack up to 10 stacks, and then dealing damage can thing. So that is very much just multi-target. Spread your damage all over the place. Put attack on his chair. I don't have access to attacks, and that would be very, very rude. So I wouldn't do that. Yeah, Glacial Fury, so that is just, I guess, the full-on AoE one. Just here's flat damage AoE whenever you're swapping targets. So M+. That's the thing, right? We have this, this is actually interesting because you have this, we're trained into going just M+. That one's for raid, that one's for AoE, that one's for single target. And you can see how they've kind of got that a little bit here. So yeah, you've got that idea of this is just that one, just that one, just that one. And that's the thing they have to kind of get around, and they're doing that. That's what they're attempting to do here with, I think the most interesting one is the Corrupting Rage so far, where it is straight up just, yes, there is a very niche scenario. This isn't just autopilot, pick the one that's right for the situation. And that's kind of the same thing they're doing with talent builds as well, where they're actually trying to diversify what you're doing in terms of your gameplay anyway, because that's, I think that's kind of the thing that the game's a little bit been missing in a bunch of ways, is people having individual control of what they do. They just kind of do the thing that the game tells them to do, or the thing that, say, their like tank tells them to do in the specific situation. If it's like, hey, you've got a invis pot, use it here, and then everyone agrees to that. This is a little bit more, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what is right for me at this point, and the individual decides that, as opposed to the collective decides that and puts it on Warhead or Icy Veins or in an FAQ in the class Discord. So I think that's what they're going for here. I mean, you can see that with the file of static empowerment, which is, stationary will increase your stat, move consumes the effect. So that's very much the, as to whether that'll be say the default as opposed to, well, I mean, it looks a little bit like either that or the versatility one will be the default one, but that's, you could see something for a mage work really well, or basically any range that can stay still for a while. You go, okay, yeah, I will just stand here in my Rune of Power and pump, but then I need to move. Oh, I can move quickly. So I think that's the kind of stuff that's just, I think it'll be nice to have. And then you've also got, the file of tap versatility, which is just the thinking about what I'm using. Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to think any of that shit. Same with the file of alacrity is just there, and the elemental chaos is just secondary stat and bonus effect, but it's a cycling secondary stat. I guess we'll need to see what it actually looks like. So that's interesting. I mean, yeah, those are great versus having a default. This will also make the mats more equally desirable. That's the thing where this is the very super small things that kind of, to me, contribute to a game actually feeling proper, feeling like someone's developing it, feeling like it exists for a reason, as opposed to just kind of going, it's a cookie cutter normal shit where you're not thinking. And it's not even about thinking, it's just kind of having a little say in what you're doing. And I see a lot of them deciding this, like I was saying with the talent builds, where it's definitely designed to be, no, you can make your own little change. And that's the thing I think is really, really, I don't want to say exciting, because the last thing I want to do is start selling this expansion, be like, look, they understand what the good is. But it just seems like they're definitely getting there a little bit faster, or a little bit better than before, let's say, which is always an improvement. But we also have potions, and this kind of potions is more or less the same thing, right? Where you've got your healing potions, you've got your Withering Vitality, which is, that's a new one entirely, where it is the Shadow Mend, but in actual healing potion form. And I think that's pretty good. I think it's just nice. You can imagine a scenario where you'll want to do that because your healer's competent, or because, you press the button, then you pop your own heal, or something along those lines. And then, if anything new, the Chilled Clarity reduces the mana cost of all spells, but increases cast time. That's really, really cool. Not super amazing, this is fucking transformative, the game is different, the game's amazing. But it is a lot more, I can choose which potion I use. As opposed to, you pick the sleepy potion, and then you get mana back. So even I'm, as somebody who's probably going to play healer again, that's pretty good to me. That's pretty much going to be, people still use mana pots. Yes. When you're, let's say when you're raiding with players who are inclined to take a little bit extra damage and may not be optimal with their defensive capabilities, then yes, you use mana pots. You use a lot of mana pots. You use a mana pot every fight. Sometimes you use the sleepy potion, and then you still are out of mana for most of the fight. Wonderful. The combat pots are also kind of slightly interesting enough, where they're just back to prolonged power. Prolonged power. There you go. Prolonged power. There's one for 30 seconds, for 45 seconds. And then there's the revealing nearby enemies one, which I think might be interesting for them to play around with in the context of, hey, we're going to do ourselves some invisible enemies in Mythic Plus, so you bring a Demon Hunter, or you bring a Potion of Shock and Disclosure, or something like that. And that's the kind of thing that could be cool. Although invisible enemies always have that problem of, is it Shattered Halls or Blood Furnace? With the invisible dudes on the stairs in TBC. And now you just have warriors running up spamming Whirlwind.
Oh, yeah.
Also, there's the Feign Death Potion.
What?
Yep. The Potion of Frozen Vitality.
Neat.
It can't be used in combat. But outside of combat, you can pretend to be dead. It's very, very nice. Also an invisibility pot and
so they're having fun with things.
And a drink to be propelled a distance.
See, what I saw earlier really just to indicate all this was pretty damn good.
Yeah, so as I was saying when you're gone, it's fundamentally, it's there's a little bit of stuff they're doing that, and I think it combines with the talent trees, where they're just going, we're very tired of having a cookie cutter answer. We're going to give you enough choice that you have choice and don't just go for the cookie cutter answer every time. Which I was saying that's a massive improvement to like the overall feel of the game. It doesn't really feel like it on paper, but I think it's one of those things that'll bring just a little mild bit of enjoyment that makes the whole thing better.
Yeah, then what's this? We just have 2 power potions from the Cauldron.
Yeah, you have the prolonged 30 and the prolonged 45 from the Cauldron.
Grand. So other things. Oh yeah, the little crafting tables.
Oh yeah,
Aren't these beautiful? Like that's just fun from like a fantastical perspective. So,
yep.
Really, it's a good start, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's the thing where like they have a lot of very, very, very big wins. They have to actually win a lot of big battles to fight, but on paper they're winning a lot of the small battles in terms of design front, which is very, very good. Very, very good.